derrotando el ateísmo y la envidia que cada ser tiene adentro contra su creador a través de las consideraciones de la Oida Terapia. No, no in English. Thank you. So, this is a continuation of the discussion of Oida Therapy and its potency to remove this great inclination in the conditioned soul to compete with the Supreme, to deny the existence of the Supreme, to take shelter of their own limited mundane reasoning instead of embracing the natural mysticism of their consciousness. Oida Therapy is proposing these meditations because the modern world is very aggressively promoting that there's nothing to be believed in. So we continue this meditation as we started it this morning, and hopefully can reach the heart of our audience so that they can embrace the Oida Therapy and all its instruments, its tools, to help the people understand the greatness of the power of believing, which is nothing but a divine ingredient of consciousness itself. We continue here with point number 26. We are talking about information. Information is collecting elements to distinguish between matter and life, between reason and order, that give information that life moves matter, but it's not created by matter. So this is a kind of an intellectual understanding that the mind is able to direct matter. But people say that the mind comes from matter in the materialistic consciousness, so they consider matter as higher than mind. But the information which we accumulate, that is the order given on the basis of the information, teaches us that actually life moves matter. So we have to utilize this to distinguish between matter and life. Because the one who is giving the orders is superior. The matter may be full of temptations and dragging us left and right, but the order is coming from consciousness. And that consciousness, that reason, shows that the orders, they give the information to us that life is directing matter. Life moves matter. And therefore, life is something independent from matter in the ultimate instance. Now we move to point number 27. What you know is what you believe in those who told you what they think that they are knowing. Knowing. The only thing I know is that I don't know anything. This is Oida principle. Socrates. Oida, oides. Only thing I know that I don't know anything, and I'm not even sure about that. That's... So you think you know something because they told you. Somebody thought they know something, they told you. But knowing actually comes from Oida or from Veda. knowledge, truth. If something is not based on truth, that knowledge is ambiguous. It may change, and it is irrelevant. But my point here is that when you hear people talking, you may copy it, it may sound to you reasonable, but they don't know. And now you know what they think they know, and you took it as knowledge. 27. The theory of evolution is based on false, fake news about the similarity of the DNA of humans and chimps. The evolution theory of Darwin is practically debunked. And the arguments in favor about that the DNA of humans and chimps are so similar, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give any true information. The DNA is a very, very complex structure, and maybe you find all of a sudden that snails have a very similar DNA as humans and things like that, but it does not mean that the consciousness and the human life have a intermediate sequence, what we call missing link, between the lower species and the actual species. So there's a false fake news which is given and repeated to people that we come from the apes. But all the studies by evolutionists have turned that fact into simply a nice theory. It's not proven at all. And it's very, very, there's many, many reasons to say it's not possible. But that's a separate study, which I don't go into now. 29. There exists plenty of axiomatic truth element noticed by our consciousness in the constitutional compounds and conditions of matter that reveal a higher sophisticated state of matter and its interaction with consciousness, its interaction with conscious individual beings. Axiomatic truths. These are the basis, the substances which are in this world noticeable, which we are trying to find out more and more, the axiomatic truths of the atom, the axiomatic truths of the DNA, the axiomatic truths of water's constitution, and all the compounds and conditions of matter. They reveal that there are very high sophisticated rules or truths underlying them, and that these are not vulnerable, neither have they been discovered or created by human beings. They are simply part of what nature is supplying us. That is a very extensive subject, which we also will not entertain too much here, but if you want to find out more axiomatic truths, by the axiomatic truths you can understand that so many things are underlying foundational principles that life itself and consciousness itself, which is a motive, which is I wouldn't say a product, an accompanying element of these, indicates something more sophisticated and more higher than the axiomatic truths, which neither have been created by any human being. Number 30. Axiomatic truths refers to rules and conditions like preset realities that make life possible. In other words, the constitution of elements is of that kind that a certain thing can happen. Like if you want salt in the soup, then you need salt. Or some other ingredient which has the salty elements. But you cannot create salt without salt. Similarly, moisture is liquid. So you cannot take a dry compound without any moisture and make it liquid. So there are certain things which are just happen to be the constitutions. I call them preset realities. So axiomatic truths or preset realities are what brings about this life. Number 31. Axiomatic truths of the astronomical situation as well as the geological and biological situation are the very compounds and conditions that make life possible. Sun, moon, earth, elements, and the existence of individual consciousness are the divine ingredients used by nature, or as you may prefer, God, to set the basis of relationship of the maintainer with the maintained. Somebody is giving us the food to eat. Somebody is giving us the light to see. Somebody is giving us the water to refresh. Somebody is giving us the air to breathe. These are all ingredients supplied by nature. And they are the top reasons why we should consider a divine interference to be the basis of our relationship with somebody who's maintaining us, and we are the maintained. Now this thing is clear. We are being maintained. We are not maintaining the rule. We are not maintaining, nor can we change the basic ingredients of the existence of life. So therefore, if we are being maintained, we should be very curious to find out who is maintaining us. Because that is a question of gratefulness. If you are being maintained by some higher power, that higher power we call God. If you want to call it nature, because you're not so convinced about the conscious God, then at least you have to accept that nature has been very considerate with us, because it allowed us to exist and to maintain ourselves. Number 32. Elements such as gratefulness, compassion, and thirst for success and achieving goals are clear indications of a search for a higher meaning. The atheists say there's no meaning in life, but we are always trying to be good people, we want to have success in our activities, we want to achieve certain goals. Our whole life is marked by that. So, if that is so, then there's an indication that we are looking for a meaning of our activities. You want to build a house, so you're gathering the materials to make a house. The goal is to have a place of shelter. You want to cook a meal, so you gather the ingredients to cook a meal. You have to get the fire and all that. So again, this is something which is coming to you by the very nature of life. Text number 33. Love and the product of self-sacrifice found in mothers and others indicate that giving is more important than receiving or taking benefits from others. That contradicts the idea of a simple struggle for survival of the fittest. According to Darwin, the fittest survive and the weaker, they get eaten up and disappear. So there is no consideration of idealistic developments in the consciousness. So we find a great amount of self-sacrifice in mothers. For their children, they do so much sacrifice. And also other people may have sacrifice for others. So there is something psychological, which is persons feeling more satisfaction when they're giving than if they're taking, which means that's an indicator of love. Love means giving, not taking. So unconditional love, very high elevated love, that's even more wonderful than when you consider that you want to give you want to give rather than take. This is so interesting because it really shows that there is something within us which is not egotistic, which is not simply wanting to take advantage of the other, what to speak of sacrificing the other. Sacrificing another person for one's own benefit, that is not approved unless there's an absolute unavoidable emergency. And that is exactly where consciousness is giving the criteria. When you can help others, it's much better than if you take something from others or if you create difficult circumstances for others. If you walk on the ground, you step on insects. You would like to avoid that, but sometimes you cannot. So, on a higher principle, you know that your fellow human beings should not suffer so that you have a more comfortable life. That's not what your heart is proposing. So there's a love principle in the heart of all of us, and that love principle is searching for a higher connection. 34. If love and compassion did not exist, we would be totally lost. If intelligent design does not indicate any intelligent designer, the underlying supermodel would be divine and worshipable. So, if there's no intelligent designer, but we are seeing such wonderful things as love and compassion existing, then it would mean that the supermodel, or what is giving cause to this creation, that is divine and worshipable. I mean, if you want to do away with the God of a certain religion because you are scared or you have had bad experience or whatever, that is one thing. But if you want to do away with the wonderful greatness of higher feelings and higher possibilities and higher everything inside your loving existence or your love feeling, then you have to say there is a model, there's an underlying principles of existence, and that you can worship. You can worship a formula, the formula of life. You say the life has no consciousness, only I have. Okay, then gratefully to this formula I worship. But you cannot say there's not, is that highest of all highest thing? It comes out of nothing and all that. This is all bogus. This is bogus and fantasy. Therefore I say love and compassion did not exist, we would be totally lost. So intelligent design, creation design has created these things. They are real. We're experiencing them every day. 35. Human tribes show the nature. The human tribes show that the nature of the inclination is there to worship the sun, moon, earth, etc. That's where gratefulness and responsibility arises. Okay, rather being so technical, we say sun is giving light, earth is giving food, moon is giving light in the night, ingredients are here to live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I give you my puja, my honor. I make my offering, my prayer, my song, my meditation. I direct you this to this life-giving energy. And that's been seen in all the tribal natures in the world. So gratefulness and recognition of some higher principle and higher help is there in human beings. So modern atheist who says, I owe nothing to nobody, it is all hoax, which made people be reverential and worshipping this different circumstance, or givers of life, that is simply a total arrogance of the mind. These people, these ancestors of us, they have worshipped because they were grateful and they received, and also of course they had principles of giving. 36. Free will is based on the option of choice, meaning of life brings about a responsible choice. A meaningless existence would bring about the choice to enjoy without caring for others. So here we come to the point of meaning of life. If there's no meaning of life, then we would be in a total dangerous situation. Therefore, the free will, which is given to us, gives us choice. So we have a choice. We want a responsible choice with a meaning of life, or we want a meaningless existence and just want to enjoy irresponsible without caring for anybody. This is what atheism does to people. Say, now, what's the use? Life has no meaning, no value. Let me get any drug I can get, any pleasure I get, and it's criminal. This type of thinking is basically criminal. So therefore it is not very positive. That's why we need spirituality. It's a part of the human treasure. (37) Free will is given to us by the origin of free will. We have free will. Some free will gave us free will. It shows conscious observation, options, choice to determine actions, individuality, reasoning, thought, and starting actions. Freedom may be limited and will be also conditioned by a personal strengths, In other words, there is a level beyond my freedom, realization and capacities to do or understand something. Topic of free will. Limited free will. Free will is given to us. We got free will. And that was given to us by free will. Because nobody obliged God to give us free will. So He gave us free will because that's what His free decision was. Thank you, intelligent designer, to give me free will. But it shows conscious observation. Now I'm given the sense. I can observe. I have options to act. I have a choice to determine my activities. I have individuality. I have reasoning. I have thoughts and I can start actions. It may be limited. If I decide I want to lift this house next door, I can't. If I decide I lift this book, I can. And will is also conditioned by personal strengths. In other words, there's a level beyond my freedom, realization and capacity to do or understand something. In other words, yes, we are given free will, it's very nice, but we are not unlimited. We got free will for a certain reason, for a certain amount of activities and decisions to be made, and there's limits. But we can exercise this because that is being part of the gift of life. 38. God gives free will because He wishes us to connect with Him out of our love and gratefulness. So this is information we are receiving from the Vedas, that God has given us a free will because He wants us to be able to connect to Him with love, gratefulness, and also acting compassionate with others, helping others in this world. You could say it's a training center. So that is the meaning of life. Now we are getting a practical understanding that my life has a meaning. And that meaning is to be good, to do the right thing, to give what I can give, to learn what I can learn. Not to aspire for things which are beyond your reach, because that's useless. So God gives the free will because He wants us to connect with Him. Because He is individual, He loves you. You are individual, you can love Him, but you're not obliged to love Him. You can also turn your love to a dog or to a cat or to a tree or to a country or just to yourself. You can become a self-lover who worship your own picture. 39. Ethical considerations and moral values have no hope without the meaning of life and someone above us to whom we are accountable. This element here of being accountable is to a law. The law of karma, the law of action and reaction, the law of reincarnation, to a well-wisher, to a meaning of life. That is what the Vedas give us, a very clear meaning of life, that we are growing according to our giving and not according to our taking, what to speak about our stealing. No, we grow in our condition, in our existence by how much we can respond to the graciousness of God to give us free will and to give us all the ingredients. Like if you have a lot of money and somebody's starving in your door and dying because of lack of food while your house is full of food, then you are a horrible wretch. Then you should be severely chastised. Because what came to you was not because you're better than the one in the door. It's just your karma had. You got a lot of food and they don't. So these are our tests. The Vedas are full of tests to teach us what is a good human being, what is a fulfillment of the meaning of life. So therefore, ethical consideration and moral values have no hope without the meaning of life. No, moral values and what you should do, what you should not do, how to treat with the women, how to educate the children, how to deal with cleanliness, etc. All this is connected to the meaning of life. Then we can develop it and it starts making sense. And to be accountable, this is the most important. If you think you are not accountable to somebody, then already your life is pretty lost. And you are accountable not only to God, but also to the people we live with. You are accountable to the laws of material nature. Number 40. Intuition and dreams connect us with an invisible source of our world and memory bank controlled by one inner guide. It's very interesting here. The inner guide comes in yoga always and gives us inner confirmation and light on the path. So believing in something, that also happens when your inner guide approves it. Actually, the inner guide is the divine, sometimes called Paramatma. You may also call it Shraddha, or the faith, your conviction you are developing. But basically, maybe by dream or maybe by intuition, you understand that there is something important. Of course, you depend on your intelligence and on your memory bank as far as making any decision. So again and again, we are dependent. Also our memory, we are dependent. Thought, decision, determination, also we are dependent. Consuming, eating, sleeping, everything, we are always dependent and accountable. So this is the meaning of life. You are dependent, you are accountable. Now how can you get the idea, I don't have anything to report to anybody, I can do whatever I want? Number 41. Prayer is our chance to speak to the omniconscious guide who can answer in many ways, such as dreams, holy books, and lectures, and God, who is the original spiritual master. So if we want to talk to the responsible origin of our life, we can use prayer, we can use offerings, we can use our meditation, and we can ask, what am I to do? How can I please you? What do you want me to do in my life with my responsibilities? So prayer is an universal form to speak to the omniconscious guide, and he can answer. This is you have to experience. You may believe me, or you have already experienced it. Most people have already experienced it. But the atheist, he probably will deny it. He said, no. So I ask you, here is a child. Go kill the child and make a meal. Then you say, no. My God, are you crazy? So who told you no? That's your inner guide. Your inner guide tells you. Some people, they are cannibals, they say, okay, make it with curry. So, but we are not on that level. We want the real wonderful guidance back to home, back to God, that from the inner guide to discover the inner treasures. So prayer is very important there. 42. Prayer is a natural expression of faith that someone exists and listens to them and cared for him. In other words, as soon as you pray, you believe somebody must listen to my prayer. If I put you a little stone, says, please pray to this stone, you say no. But if I say Shaligram and the governor, okay, God will listen to me through this stone. So it's all a question of faith. The real agency for answer is through the heart. So therefore, everything which has to do with yoga is always a heart-to-heart connection. The real way to go beyond atheism is by the process of mystic yoga, of connecting with that Ishvara, that principle which is behind everything and above everything. 43. Who created God? Who created creation of anyone or any situation or element? The one source which is beyond creation, while also being its source of everything material and spiritual. So the famous argument of atheism. So if your God is so great, then who created him? So they want to say, it is an endless story. And who created the one who created God? Who created the one who created the one who created the one who created God? So we may try to put our logical sequencing there, but it's of no avail, because the creation is already there. You're not asking about something within theory. You're already asking about what is in front of you, who is maintaining you. So therefore, you don't have to worry about which is inconceivable. If God has been created by another higher God, okay, maybe he introduces us to him at some point. What's beyond us, who cares? But we want to know who created us and what meaning he has given to us. And that should be our joy to discover, because the magic of his creation is more than noticeable, is more than evident. All we have to do is say, yes, thank you, my Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What can I do for you? Then things become attracted. Number 44. According to the Vedas, God has 3 personal features which are given by the Vedic revelation. First of all, there's the Virata Rupa, or the universal form. But from there, we come to the source of all energy. Matter, nature, the souls, and the impersonal, all-pervading presence called Brahman. Number 2, his omniconscious guardian presence within everybody's soul called Paramatma, or inner guide. Number 3, his personal private world of pure love with all those who are with God, or with who received the grace to reach his realm. So here we have some practical answers about God given by the Vedic scriptures. They give us so clear information about God, we should be very grateful for it, because there's no clarity of that kind anywhere else I have seen in my life. What God wants, he wants to have his son in full success and highest love. So he's coming to us, he's giving us so much understanding and good examples and scriptures who guide us. So this Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdyate principle, it is really, really a very important and clear understanding where we are part of God, but we are also small. If he wants to make us bigger, that's up to him, but we are small. And before God, we will always be small. Let's go on. Number 45. I'm conscious, I exist. Others are also conscious. They exist. Who gave us consciousness and existence? can reveal the purpose of us relating to him and to others. Only lasting relationships seem to be of real value. That's an important point here. We are created as conscious beings. So we are existing. It's a reality. We don't know in what form, in what body, but now we exist. And we are looking for a relationship. But we're looking for lasting relationship, because temporary relationship, they just come and go. Like you have a relationship with somebody who comes and he brings you an Amazon package. Okay. Thank you. Hi, how are you? All the best. And he's gone. And you may never see him again in your life. So it was a nice relationship. He brought you the package which you were waiting for. But this is not what life is all about. We are looking for lasting relationships. And lasting relationships means, on the material plan of our family and society, there has to be some friendship and love and comprehension. But from the creative intelligence, which has brought our existence into existence, we are expecting a lasting relationship. Means we are expecting to go to the world of a lasting relationship, because this world is always Martya Loka, is a place where everybody dies. So if I like you a lot, if I really, really like you a lot, which I can say counts for me, I like many, many people a lot, but they're going to be gone, or I'm going to be gone, and then what about our relationship? Is that relationship simply finished? It's not finished if the relationship was in Krishna. But if God is not involved in that relationship, it's just going to be boom, going into smithereens, into different directions. And that means the relationship is lost. So how valuable was this? Chitaketu's son, he was asking the mystical, the father Chitaketu, he asked Angira Muni, please bring my son back. Please bring my son back. I cannot live without him. So seeing his obstinate thing, the yogi asked the child who was dead, come back into your body, come back into your body. Your father wants to see you. So the soul returned into the body and asked the Muni, which father didn't want to see me? What do you mean which father? Well, I've had so many fathers after this existence, so many times. So I don't know which father you want. So in this way, he showed that the relationship in this world is of no significance. We want the real relationship in the real eternal world. Not just, but 10 lifetimes ago I met a very nice friend, he was a very good poet, I want to meet him again. No, gone. We want something more substantial. And only the Supreme Intelligent Designer can show us a place where we can relate in such a way. 46. Every material cause has some effect. Every thought produces a mental state. Every word may reach some ear. Thus God is the cause of all effects. God is aware of all and loves us. Try to embrace that idea. So, there's a cause and effect. Life is there. Thinking is there. Feeling is there. Loving is there. So, it's the original design by our Creator. So we are asking Him, please accept us within your divine realm of your divine plan for all of us. Let me live in this, because then the atheism will not be attracted to me anymore, because there's nothing there. I'm requesting you to renounce nothingness. The nothingness which means not of any importance. So I'm really asking you to renounce nothing, but to embrace everything. Love and the divine manifestations, which is another thing to study about under the proper guidance. Number 47. All beings, including you, are maintained. 100% maintained. By who? Who supplies all we need? Nature. Then nature is God. Then we should worship nature. Then we must ask, what are nature's laws? What would make the life of all most pleasant? Just like you wish to have a fearless, pleasant surrounding, therefore Dharma, the appropriate behavior, is a true must for any society. If you offend the welfare of others, what will you have to accept in return? Who teaches universal love, responsible action, karma, and reincarnation, as a follow-up to our present lifestyle, is either God or godly. That's a little bit long thought, meaning that if you conclude all these things which I just said, then either you are God or you're godly. Because God has expanded himself into godly spirits of godly consciousness. And Dharma is the proper behavior which makes life pleasant for him and for others. The appropriate behavior. So we are all maintained. So we should be very grateful. And we must ask, what are the laws of nature? This is kind of a conclusion, no? Here. Yes, if you understand these things, you cannot be an atheist. You can be a godly soul. You don't know who's God, but there is information about him if you want to know. If you can believe it. If you can't believe it, then just notice it. That's what people believe. Like we respect all religions if they teach that love is the way to God and you shouldn't harm anybody else. Then we believe in all religions. We don't think it is only my way or the highway, like the sectarian people often say. No. We have something very universal and beautiful, which is coming from our great teachers of the divinity. So, you want to be godly, but don't get the foolish idea that you have become God. That is another envy conclusion. There's nobody above me, I am part of the all-godly system, and so I'm God. In mathematics, 48, there are many hints about the universe. It is like an underlying principle. The zero, the phi, the p, the divine proportion, the numbers, the square, the circle, the quantum mechanics, the atom, the cell, everything. It has mathematical formulas, and when they understood, and when you go to the bio lab and you try to get these into working, you can get amazing results. That's why medicine is advancing so much, but unfortunately mostly misused. These things are not invented. These are just discoveries. These are things revealed to us. And in the Vedas, they were already mentioned. Great Vedic scholars, they were great mathematicians, great astronomers, astrologers, they had everything. The greatest constructors imaginable. thousands of years ago. That is all happening here. In other words, there's pre-existing equations which constitute the universe. But still you have been given independence. That is the most amazing thing. Limited, very limited independence, but no doubt independence. Because only in love there can be independence. Number 49. Love is a reality. Our principal impulse in life is love. From mother's love to universal love, God is love. God loves all to give them free will and creates humans after his own image. Delete all loving impulses and creation will grind to a halt. If you delete all loving impulses in creation, the creation will grind to a halt. It's all impulses coming from love. Search, poetry, everything is impulses, love. So don't delete love. Then your life is useless and there's nothing more to aspire for. So thank you to this love which is given to us from the very beginning by our mother, father, by our creator, by our teachers, all the love which is given by the Guru Parampara. They will show us that there's something incredible called divine existence. Number 50. Faith is a capacity. It is an ingredient of consciousness and free will. Faith depends on hearing about what you cannot see. If your information is positive, truths about the well-wisher of all, your faith can embrace spirituality. If your informations are negative, materialistic, exploitative, you can believe that life has no creator, no reason or meaning. Faith is depending on intuition and information, but faith is the only chance to connect to your soul and its creator. So many things are invisible. We concluded that so many times. So we cannot deny the invisible because it makes us simply foolish. Air is invisible, but we know how valuable air is. The divine spirit is also invisible, but giving life and love to us. So faith is actually an ingredient which is given to us by the divine lover of God, Srimati Radharani. Her name is Shraddha, and she has given us this faith. Therefore the Oida Therapy produces all kinds of tools and instruments to make it clear to you that there's something wonderful. The underlying principle of life is wonderful. Your life is wonderful, you are wonderful, but you have to embrace it. You have to proceed, you have to develop it. You cannot be passive, negative, and still expect a wonderful outcome. You have to be active and also receiving the grace which goes through you, because we are trying to connect with this love, connect with this higher consciousness. Therefore, to have faith is not irrational. Look, one amoeba contains thousands of volumes of data in its functioning. Just to get the amoeba functioning, the scientific information which is behind, it will fill many thousands of pages. The laws of logic exists beyond this universe. Gravity does not make choices. Don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. These are rules which are helping us to develop the right understanding. So, embrace faith with gratefulness, but the faith in what the Vedas give us, meaning what Oida Therapy allows you to discover. This is your own journey, your own discovery. You are part of the solution. Therefore, you can also be joyful and grateful. 52. Those who deny intelligent design, even after knowing that there is information in every cell and DNA code, are simply sectarian towards inclined to materialism. They may call it natural science, but exclude all divine options and the right to believe what is most reasonable to someone. Atheistic prejudice is no science, it is just prejudice. They just jump conclusions without having thought about it carefully under the guidance of all the options given by the Vedas. 53. The science of options of faith is the only access to freedom and higher dimensions. Those who deny the existence of higher dimensions are left with their own ignorance of not being able to explain their own mind, intelligence, creation, life, free will, etc. All they can do is to watch matter through telescopes and microscopes. That's all they can do. And looking at telescopes and microscopes doesn't show too much, even though it's pretty interesting what you can see there. But consciousness you cannot see. But without consciousness you cannot look through the microscope. 54. Thinking, feeling, willing, and believing are the instruments for searching security, morals, happiness, and self-realization. And love. And divine love is the highest state of self-realization. Divine love is something which all the yogis are searching for, all the religions are searching for, all the idealists are searching for. Everybody who has any consideration of wanting to do good things with their life, they will come to the same conclusion. So we hope that these reflections on atheistic thinking and giving some information what the Veda, Oida, origin gives about life can help you to embrace with enthusiasm the connection with your origin. Because your origin is even more wonderful than you are. You are also wonderful. There's no doubt about it. Therefore, if you think your life has no value, it is simply the influence of materialism, frustration. Like you say, I want to be a millionaire, but I only have a minimum salary or not even a job. So that kind of depresses people, but the divine treasures of our life, they are not in the bank balance. You have to find them somewhere else. And God and the relationship with God makes everybody the richest of the rich. My Father, my Lord, He owns not only this universe, He owns as many universes as you can imagine. So what do I have to worry about when I have a Father like that? It would be foolish to think, my Lord, please make sure I get a few, some quota set aside for my personal, private, capricious existence. No need. The Lord has everything, my Lord has everything, so I have everything also when He wants me to have it. And that's a practical realization. As a monk in the temple, you really don't need much. But if you compare where we are living, the devotees normally they live in palaces, whereas other people usually live in shacks. So Krishna is really responding to those who open their heart to Him. I hope this has helped you. And please go to Telegram, Oida Therapy, and find out all these tools which are there to help you to develop your participation in Oida Therapy. Oida Therapy is meant to relieve the world of atheism and sadness by giving them that religion and that spirituality which surcharges them with joy. We recommend the Mahamantra Hare Krishna as manifestation of the faith mercy descent. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's what we recommend. I recommend. I practice. Not only thinking, but also practicing. And in addition to that, we are hoping to develop this science of self-realization under the guidance of our spiritual teacher, Srila Prabhupada. His books, Vanipedia, top recommendation for guidance in spiritual life. Thank you.